I've been asked by several people for an update on these Ponca blackberries, the newest blackberry out of University of Arkansas, and planted them about 6 months ago. Let's take a look at them. What do you think so far? So as you can see, I have planted them in containers. These are wicking tubs. If you're not familiar with wicking tubs, I've got an entire playlist on that, how to build them, and two different versions that I build. So I have got these, and just like my other blackberries in containers, these are doing great. Planted these in probably January or February, and I've got, I need to build a trellis. I see that, I know that. I've got the T-post down there ready to go. I've got to find some time and gumption to do it. Now sometimes even an erect cane will sprawl the first year. The canes don't really get as erect as you would think the first year. Some do. Now these, I think the Primarks, the Primark Freedoms, I believe they were pretty stout canes the first year. But anyway, these are sprawling somewhat. That one right there is 6 feet long. I've got a couple on the other side that are 6 feet long. This looks like probably my best example of the Poncas doing the best. But they all look good. I've got ground cover, landscape cloth down, put wood chips on top of that, and then put these tubs on top of that, just to give myself an area that I don't have to mess with weeds much or grass growth. But they are really doing well. I can't tell you what they taste like. I've only had like one or two berries that actually got ripe and was able to eat. But they're growing like mad, growing like crazy. So I think they're doing going to be a great addition. The reason I went with Poncas is I think you should have diversity probably in your blackberry varieties. And the Ponca, the newest variety, and I like to try stuff that's new anyway. Ponca being the newest variety was it is supposed to be the sweetest blackberry that the University of Arkansas has come up with, and they have come up with a bunch. They're kind of the kingpins on blackberry varieties. So these it's supposed to be sweet, and so that's why I got them, and I did it as an experiment to show you too. These went through the big Texas freeze and was, as far as I could tell, was not hurt at all. I mean, not at all. Where my Primark Freedoms took a big hit on the existing canes from last year. Took a big hit on those. I've shown you that video where I've had to prune. I've still got some pieces on the ground where I pruned out, and I'm telling you, I would have had a massive crop of blackberries off the Primark Freedoms had it not been for the freeze. But the Poncas are doing well. This one again is 5 feet tall minus a 20-inch tub, so they're 3 or 4 feet tall, 3.5. Those canes right there again are 6 feet tall. When I planted them, there was just almost nothing there. It was like pencil lead size plants almost. But they're a brand new plant. There's just not very many out there, especially not very many that are that have been around long enough to have been propagated and maybe left in a pot for a year or something like that and gotten large. These had just barely gotten propagated and got some roots on them, but they've done well. All of them lived. Every one of them. I planted 9, and all 9 of them have lived, and all 9 of them are thriving. This one seems to be the kingpin, Mac Daddy. But most of these have multiple canes coming up, and these are this year's canes, but they look great. As you can tell, they are in containers. Now, some of y'all may not be familiar with my channel in that I do a lot of blackberries in containers. So Let me just tell you, these are wicking tubs. It's not just a container with holes drilled in the bottom. It's different. The hole you see down there close to the bottom, there's about a 3-inch reservoir of water at the bottom, and the water just wicks up through the wicking tub. I use these for vegetables as well as for fruit. So they do real well. Blackberries do real well in tubs, and I'll do a video soon as to why I like raising blackberries in tubs instead of the ground. I've got lots of land. You know, I could plant these anywhere and take care of them in the ground, and did that for years. I had at one time 700 feet of blackberries, and I did that in the ground, did it successfully, but had problems with gophers and other things, and I decided to experiment with tubs, with containers, and glad that I did. Here's a look at my Prime Arc Freedom blackberries that are in containers, and these are 2-year-old. These Ponca blackberries were planted this year, about 6 months ago. The winter was not kind to these Prime Arc Freedom blackberries, but it did not harm these Poncas. These Poncas were planted when we got down to 0 degrees, and I just did not see any, not just significant, but any problems with the Ponca blackberries in that cold weather. So that might be something that you want to plant if you're in a climate that is traditionally cold. We don't normally get down to 0 here in East Texas. But these Poncas are doing well. I need to build a trellis. I've got a real good trellis design, and I've got the T-post laid out over there on the ground. Just haven't done it yet, but I need to do that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about a trellis, or if you're looking for a great trellis for blackberries, look right about there, right about now, and you'll see a really good trellis design that has worked well for me for a couple of years. So proven and works well. So the Ponca blackberries are doing great. Hope yours are too, if you bought some on my recommendation and just to experiment with. I bought them because they're supposed to be the sweetest blackberry ever, and as of 2021 anyway. So I bought them for that reason, and to experiment a little bit. I had these tubs left over when I put my fruit trees in the ground, and decided to put blackberries in them, and wanted a different variety. So there's the Poncas. Hope yours are doing well. Leave a comment below and tell me how yours are doing, if you planted them either in the ground or in containers. So let me know what yours did and how you like them, and if the Poncas are doing well for you. I don't think anybody's going to know about the taste until next year, but these, having produced this many canes this year, they should be loaded down next year. I need to come in here and again put that trellis in, and then do some pruning that will help them develop those laterals. In fact, I need to do the pruning now and let them start developing the laterals. That's where you get your the bulk of your blackberry production is on lateral canes, and not the long trailing cane, but the lateral cane. I don't like trailing, what's called a trailing blackberry that sprawls out, or a sprawling, I guess maybe is the word, that sprawls out on the ground. I like something that grows upright, and so look for that when you're looking for blackberry varieties, for the characteristics of how they grow, which would be sprawling or trailing. I'm really don't remember the exact term. And then they've got semi-erect, and they've got erect. The Prime Arc Freedoms seem to be the erect variety, because they form a big fat cane about as big as a quarter, and even in the first year they just really form big good canes that grow pretty much erect. They don't lay down much, they don't sprawl out much. Some blackberries will sprawl or will trail a little bit the first year, and then the next year we'll start having erect canes. So, and this may be one of them, I don't know. There's not enough information out there on Poncas to really know much about it. So I wanted to give you this. I will come through here and tip those canes. You know, that's about a 6-foot cane. I'll come at about 4 feet and cut it off, and then it will start making some laterals. I already start making some laterals, like right here. There's a lateral that's springing out from that cane, but they will make a lot more than that if I will trim it back And I'll just go ahead and do that now for you. Show you what I'm talking about here. Again, this is about 4 feet long, 5 feet long. So I'm just gonna come in here. In fact, it's already, cut that off, and it's already beginning to form a lateral right there. So, good place for it. There's another one there. There's another one there. And on up, the one I showed you before. So, doing this pruning, cutting that tip off, cutting this tip off, and yes, I should probably propagate that, but I have never had much success propagating in the summertime. They just they don't do well. So even inside, I took them inside, just couldn't. I'm going to prune most of these, the long ones. So will I keep these and propagate them? I don't know. I might give it a shot. But Ponca blackberries, let me know how yours are doing. And if yours are looking better than mine, again, whether in the ground or in the in containers, it doesn't matter. Let me know how your Poncas are doing. All right, that's a deal. We're gone.